talking about transition. But this is a scripture that I ended with last Thursday Bible study. Thursday night Bible study? Right there. All right. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18. You guys have it?
Yes.
But we all, everyone say all.
All.
With unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord.
Amen. I could say when I have this verse, I could relate to a lot of things when it comes to transition. As a child, I experienced many things, and as a young adult too. And transition after transition after transition, I could really relate to many things. Breathe in, breathe
Go ahead,
out.
sister, come on. Give the word.
I chose transition because it has been life-changing to me. The greatest thing that God has gave us is choices. I believe God gave us the opportunity to see how many people God could use to us, right? But He's called if we, as believers, allow Him. I mean, we make the choice for us to keep giving the transition, keep growing in the Spirit, be willing to change our minds. Because I experienced that the hardest thing to me and my transition has been training my mind. I've changed so many areas of my life.
Hallelujah.
And let me tell you, it has been really very, very challenging. Because I never kind of saw myself as a believer. Experiencing many things out there in the world. Thinking and feeling not worthy of anything. And now that God has chosen me for His purpose,
Amen.
I have really felt very, how can I explain this word? I feel grateful. I feel not worthy of everything that He do for me. Even though I'm really not worthy of it. And I tell Him every day, God, why me? And it's not only me, it's each one of us.
Yes.
But it's just that in my particular position, how I felt in life, I felt like, it wasn't nothing out here and in here anywhere, And I have tasted so many goodness and greatness of the Lord in my life that I could really sit and say that He has made beauty out of ashes.
Come on.
Amen.
As I keep growing, month by month, day by day, year by year, I see things with more clarity, with more understanding. Because before I used to open the Bible and say, well, what does this mean? I can't understand anything. Or this is parables. I don't know what this is saying. But as the months and the years went by, I started having more understanding. And it's like every time I open the Bible, it's like He's talking to me. Like it is really, it's supernatural the way, I could just feel a little angry because I'm Christian, but I'm human. And as I open the Bible, He always let me know He's there. And let me always feel His presence. And I could feel Him daily. But you know, he's right there always to catch me and tell me I'm here for you. His love is faithful. He's faithful. His love is unconditional, and I'm more than grateful for everything he's doing and will proceed doing in my life.
Amen.
Changes is one of the most fearless things that we encounter. Because like sometimes we feel, wow, I mean, when we in a comfort zone, sometimes we don't really want to like move forward. Like, oh, I'm good here. Why should I go to the next level?
Come on.
It's not really, you know, but I experience all these things where I even, by myself, I said, why? I'm good here, Lord, just leave me here. But no, he checked me, no, it's time to move forward. And as I moved forward, I saw a change after change after change. I'm more than grateful for that, you know. It is impossible to get from where we are to where we are going. That is something that if we don't put a step on faith, we will never get where we need to go.
Come on.
You know, without making a transition, I feel that it's the greatest part of our success for a Christian. Because like sometimes, like without transition, without transformation, how can I explain this? But we can't really sit and relate to others. Because like sometimes we say, oh, what I went through this, or what I had to go through, other things we went, but it's something that I realized being now in church, that all my testimonies have helped so many others out there. And I have seen, a little or more or less, but I have seen changes in people's life that I could really get on my knees and tell God, thank you for it, you know? And sometimes it gets a little frustrating because, you know, sometimes you try to share a word or plant a seed and like it doesn't go in. Like, Lord, I just want him to, you know, get the groove and you know, you explain to this person, listen, he have done all these things to me, he will do it to you. But like, you know, nobody learned, like you will not learn from my experiences. Definitely I will not learn from your experiences. That's why we all have to go through this transformation and this transition, you know? And I heard something that really got to me, because, let me see, I'm sorry. It got to me because, like, as I have been reading in the Bible, I have not read the whole Bible yet. But, you know, I have read a lot, and the people that have transitioned from one place to another, it really encouraged me and inspires me, because the Jew transitioned from slavery to freedom.
That's right, come on.
Joseph's transition from the pit to the palace.
That's right, that's right.
Come
on.
Paul, from a persecutor to a preacher, a murderer to a merciful, an unbeliever to a believer, and from a follower to a leader.
That's right, that's right.
So like I kind of read all these stories, and it inspired me so much, because at an early age, I always had this desire of put a smile on somebody's face, and I know, I mean, I couldn't understand it, you know, quite, because it was something that it was within me, you know, and once I met the Lord, and once I got to, you know Christ, because I knew there was a God. We all do. We all do know there is a kingdom of God and there is a kingdom of darkness.
That's
but
right.
when you not experience it, you can't really relate to it. You can't really sit there and say this, that, you know, you can't really do none of these things. But once I start having an encounter with God, I could really sit and relate so many things to people, and not only because of my experiences, but what God deposited in my heart. You know, and I'm very grateful and more than thankful to the Lord that I'm just a vessel. You know, I really don't want no recognition. I really don't want any titles. I just want to serve the Lord with all my mind, soul, and body, and be able that the same way that I did got saved, and I know live in Christ, that everybody else in this world kind of cruel, you know, because I have experienced many things, like, you know, I have spoke to pastor. I sit down sometimes and have conversation with people where they're selfish. There are a lot of people that are selfish. You guys, come, let me turn these off. And you know, and that's when I realized a lot that in order for me to move forward, I had to train my mind. I felt like in my transition, I've been through a lot of processes, a lot of tests, a lot of, and some of them have been really painful. You guys are my family, and you guys know that one of the hardest things was losing my husband. But you know, in that particular moment, I experienced a peace where I never experienced before. When I every night I used to get on my knees and ask God, just strengthen me. I can't do this. And I felt like I was in a dark room. And as I was in this dark room, I'm moving forward. And as I'm moving forward, like I don't want to move. And I feel his hand behind, like, you know, his presence just tell me, keep on. You know, and I thought that I wasn't gonna, because, you know, it's hard. When you 13 years married, it's hard to really get used to. And that really was the biggest transition of all. You know, I thought that, you know, my childhood was a difficult transition. No. Like, that was really the hardest one. And not only because of my process, because of my children. See them go into their grief and their pain, you know, and that have made me really know more the Lord. Try to relate to other people more. Everybody I sit around, I mean, I probably have their ears, what is she talking about? But I try to plant a seed everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I caught myself doing things that I usually never did, that God bless, you know, the Lord loves you. And I'm always trying to interact with everybody. Before, I wasn't a people's person. I was a person that I hated the world for what had happened to me, you know, and to me, whatever I went through, I was blaming the world, but it wasn't the world, it was the enemy always stopping me from the purpose I had, you know. And now that I'm up in age and I have realized so many things, I could really say it's not the world, it's the world that needs to be saved, you know. And this transformation to me and transition has really been in my heart for quite years, like 2 years. And even before my husband passed, I experienced a transition where I couldn't understand it. I was like, why am I standing all night reading the Bible? And I'm reading the Bible. I'm like, you speaking, I move. And I always ask myself, why am I reading the Bible? Like, not what I was doing, because I knew exactly that's for edification and exhortation, but I'm like, but why every day after the kids go to bed, I have to open the Bible and read it every night? And I knew he was preparing me for something, but I didn't know quite what it was. And that's why I say that he prepared me for what happened to my husband. And I mean, even though it's very hard, but I thank him so much, because everything that has happened in my life, I'm a person that I see the sunny side from my storm. I don't focus on my storm. I always see, because you will never stay in the storm. You will always have calm in the storm. You know, the storm will pass. And sometimes we get so focused in the lightning and the darkness that the cloud get, but it's really true. The storm does pass. Even when the ark and the 40 days and the 40 nights, the rainbow came out. You know, and the second verse that I have is
Deuteronomy?
Yes. Verse 31, chapter 31, verse 8. And Sister Nancy, you are welcome.
Yes.
Deuteronomy
31:8.
Yes, sir.
31:8. Right. And the Lord, He is the one who goes before you.
Hallelujah.
He will be with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. Do not fear nor be
And this verse right here was one of the ones that really got to me in the beginning of my walk with Christ, because I really didn't believe. Not that I didn't believe, but I had doubts. Like, what am I doing? But it was something that was supernatural. Like, it was a desire that I had in my heart. It was something that like the air, I needed it, you know. And I didn't quite understand it. But that was one of the verses that really, in my transition, and I used to really like not understand it, and I still like, there is some times that I could read it and I could get different definitions like of it. But that was what really made me have that confidence that he was always with me, and that it didn't matter what I was or what people say, or because I grew up not only believing, but knowing that nobody believed it in me. You know, knowing that there was nothing that I could do to get an approval, because I couldn't get it from, not only from family members, friends, the environment, and I always felt like in every little crowd I was, I didn't belong there. And I didn't quite understand it then, but then when I started reading the Bible, and the Lord started revealing these things to me, and it's something that I'm so grateful for, because like the word said, the truth shall set you free.
Amen.
And I was living not in darkness, I was living beyond darkness, because I really didn't knew a truth. And let me tell you, knowing Christ, and not a religion thing, just knowing the Lord, feeling His presence, and feeling that He is with me no matter what. If I'm good, or if I fail Him, He always have showed me unconditional love. And showing me that it don't matter how much I kind of doubted at that time. His love for me was wow.
Amen. That's true.
And the last verse that I have is Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And Sister Margaret, my lovely lady, it's your turn. 12 verse 2. 12 verse 2. Chapter 12, verse 2.
And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
Amen.
Amen.
So,
Praise the Lord.
can you read it again?
That's true.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
Amen. So that's why I have been focusing the last 6 months of transforming my mind, because that's been this task. Sometimes, not sometimes, but like Pastor say in the previous Bible study, I think we come with that in the blood. Or, there's habits that we get as children that we grow up and they're so hard to detach. And I tell you this from my own experiences, I had, and I still do kind of have an anger problem. And there is something that sometimes people talk to me, what do you say? I get like, and then I call myself, what am I doing? I'm sorry, Lord, But it's something that I grew up in a household where I saw my mom and dad fighting at all times, and it wasn't unusual. It was something that happened every other day. So as a child, that's my transition. You transit from a child to a young adult, and from a young adult to an adult to an older adult. And that's why one of the biggest things that into this day I get on my knees and I ask God to change is my anger issues. It have improved a lot, because before, like, I used to go kind of crazy, and now I kind of breathe in and breathe out. But don't get me wrong, sometimes you get out. And I have to kind of control, guys, and I talk to myself, like I get in the mirror, you cannot come out. You gotta stay right there. But you know, there is something that sometimes we in the flesh, and you know, it's not like we're gonna be perfect. I mean, we gotta try to be as much as, you know, as Christians, we gotta try to walk faith to faith, glory to glory, and try to improve and be the best versions of ourselves. But I keep on asking the Lord to change my anger. Another thing that I had was always feeling insecure. That's why you see me like hiding in the corner over there and like, but you know, I have learned before I came here, I couldn't pray. I did pray, but I couldn't pray because everywhere I go, I see, you know, my children. I'm like, Lord, I need to pray. I need you to give me the guidance, give me the knowledge and the understanding to what I'm about to do. I want this to be for edification for my sisters and brothers. I want this to be able to help somebody. And I got in my bathroom. And I got on my knees, and as I was coming here, I had a big nerve. I thought I was going to have a stroke. Oh my goodness. Because I was really nervous. And as I'm having all these papers, I'm like, but this is not going to help anybody. This is just, and you know, as I'm writing, as I'm reading it to you guys, I'm feeling all the confidence.
Amen.
That I could stand here another next time.
Come on.
And I could really go. And I could put it in. You know, each one of you, I mean, not each one of you, but, you know, and to God be the glory and the honor.
Amen.
Teach it and preach it.
That's it.